Hey guys, so we are in the final lesson of Unit 6, so we're talking about livestock breeding and reproduction. There's some cute little lambs there. Remember, baby sheep are called lambs. So breeding a livestock animal is a lot more difficult than a lot of people realize. There's like a certain window that you have to hit, and you have to know what to look for to know if that animal is even receptive to getting bred. So you need to understand how fertility works in order to successfully breed these animals. Now, um, there are rangers and there are people that they let the livestock breed on their own. However, this isn't as effective because you may have newborn babies born in a cold winter storm or a rainstorm or something like that if you don't time it the best way or when you're out of town. And a lot of problems can occur whenever an animal is having a baby. So you want to make sure you're there. You want to make sure the weather's okay. That's why most people um, plan to have babies in the spring or the fall. So we're avoiding the winter altogether or the really hot, brutal summer in Texas. All right, so livestock have estrus cycles. This means that they go into heat or become fertile. So coming into heat, that's just where they're going to display signs where they are ready to be bred. So different animals display different heat different ways. They may act a little crazy. They may be extra lovable. That's just signs that they are able to get pregnant. Their hormones are through the roof. The animal can only get pregnant through estrus, which is said the same way, but they're spelled differently. So we've got OUS and US. You need to know the difference between those. So the OUS is the whole cycle. So, like the 21-day cycle of a female going through their period, ovulation, getting pregnant, or their ability to get pregnant. Estrus, just a U, is just like a 12 to 18-hour window when that animal can actually get bred. When I say get bred, I mean get pregnant. We call it breeding, getting bred. All right, get that off there. Okay, so for cattle, the estrus cycle is about 21 days. They're like humans. Okay, the exception of time before a heifer reaches sexual maturity and after calving, that's when it's a little different. But a regular cow is 21 days. So during that heat cycle, so when they become into heat, they're ready to get pregnant, that's only about 15 hours that animal can actually get pregnant. So that's why you need to be on your A game and know when that animal can get pregnant so you can plan the pregnancies. Another thing that a lot of breeders do is they breed all their animals at the same time. So they're going to release the bull at the same time on all their animals. That way, instead of waiting all year where these calves may be spread out, it's in a tight 2-week window. So they know, okay, this 2 weeks I am in the pasture all the time, ready for these babies. It just makes it a lot easier. Um, so cows they can get pregnant all year, just depending on their estrus cycle. Pigs are similar. They can be bred once they reach sexual maturity, and that's around 6 to 8 months old. For cattle, you want to breed them about 15 months old. Sheep and goats, they're seasonal breeders, so they don't have a cycle every month like cattle. Um, they really come fertile twice a year, which is in the fall. Um, well, they can be fertile in the fall and in the summer or spring. So typically, you have them getting bred in the fall and getting birth in the spring. The changing light is going to change the estrus in the sheep and goats. A few breeds are different, but for the most part, this is how it goes. So, like us, we raise goats. It's very, very busy in the spring because we're expecting 200 kids, which are baby goats. So it's going to be wild because, a goat, they don't just have one, they typically have two. So they have twins typically. We've even had some have quadruplets. So there's two ways that a farm animal can get pregnant. That is through natural ways. So the birds and the bees, natural, or artificial insemination. And that's where humans play more of an important role. So they actually collect semen from a male animal and they insert this semen through certain tools. Looks kind of like a long gun with a long needle. They insert this into the female's ovaries and uterus to fertilize the egg. Natural service is breeding animals through sexual intercourse by bringing the male in. So this is important when you're tracking days, keeping records, so you are ready for when those babies hit. Gestation is just the amount of time that an animal is pregnant. So just for reference, like females, like humans, like I said, I was pregnant last 2 years ago. It's 40 weeks for women. For humans, 40 weeks, 10 months. Okay, so for animals, most of them are less. Not sheep. Horses, it's not on here. They're actually a little over a year, or right around a year. Goats are around 150 days. Sheep are right around that. Cattle, 274, 273 days. So that's about 9 months. And pigs are 113 days. And then just for reference, like cats and dogs, they're about 3 months. Rabbits are 21 days. So that's why they say breeding like rabbits, because they can multiply very fast. Another word you need to know is parturition. That's birth. That's just a fancy word for birth. Parturition is giving birth at the end of gestation. So at the end of gestation, the animal's going to go into labor. Labor's, whenever the cervix is going to dilate, allowing that animal to come out, allowing birth to control. It's going to be in stages, not too different from childbirth, if you ever watched it. So first, the uterus is going to contract. You'll have contractions. You can actually see on animals their stomachs moving in and out. So their bodies are contracting, getting ready for that, trying to open that cervix. And they have water sacs, just like us. And the water will break at some point. Stage 2, the second of the 2 water sacs is going to break for cattle. For goats, that first one's going to break. It says goats and sheep typically deliver twins and even triplets. But in cattle, it's less common. That has happened. We've raised cattle all my life, and I've seen probably 3 twins. So, not super common, but it does happen. Pigs are going to deliver litters of piglets. Typically 9 is average. Step 3, labor. The placenta, the organ that's nourished the fetus during pregnancy, appears. The mothers in nature typically eat this placenta. It's really good for them. It's got really good nutrients. It's pretty gross to watch, but they do it. After birth, it's natural that mother's starting to lick that baby, keep it clean, and that baby will typically nurse within the first 10, 20 minutes after it's born and stand up. That's why it's important you want to stay there and watch it for signs that this is not happening. So this picture right here, a lot of animal advocates may say this is terrible, that this is called a farrowing crate. This is terrible that this pig is in there, not able to be by her babies. The purpose of it is these sows, these mother pigs, they can be up to 400, 500 pounds. Okay. These little piglets are like less than a pound. So when they're born, if they're all in a cage together without these rails, that mother can easily roll over and squish those babies. So that's the purpose of those. Most animals don't have any issues. They're naturally good mothers. Sometimes you have to step in. That's why it's important just to know when it's going to happen and to watch and know what to watch for. Poultry are different because they hatch from an egg. Okay, so they need a safe space, well ventilated. Hens need little nest boxes, comfortable place to lay their eggs. Chickens, they lay eggs without a rooster, so the eggs that you buy from the store, they do not have a baby in them. So it does not rely on fertilization. If you want to have baby chicks, you need to have a rooster. Okay, a rooster is how you fertilize those eggs and how it grows into an embryo. So if you've got backyard chickens and you don't have a rooster, don't worry. You're not hurting those chickens. You're not eating the chicken babies. You're just eating the eggs. Okay, and then it talks about candling. It's pretty cool. If you've got eggs at home, you should do this, especially if you have a rooster. And so, like, I would do this to like a maybe a 3 or 4 day old egg, 5 day egg. Take it into a dark room, and you can place. I just place my phone flashlight on it, any kind of light, and it's called candling. So you actually can see the inside of that egg then, and you can see if there's an embryo um, growing or not. All right, so we just kind of touched on all livestock, basic animal care. Again, I love this topic, so if you have any questions, just please reach out.